We are ready to rock and roll. How about it? All right, so I was on Pinterest today, and you know, my mind always gets going when I'm on Pinterest. I'm sure like most of Sorry about that, guys. I hate it when you have technical problems. All right, so we are, like I was saying, I was on Pinterest and I seen this recipe, and I have that asparagus that I was showing you guys earlier today. And so I thought, what better way to use it than this recipe? And of course, I'm tweaking it up a little bit because, you know, that's how my brain works. So I've got a pot of water boiling over here for the pasta. And this is in the new multi-pot. Let me just tell you guys, this pot is absolutely amazing. So you have the lid, which I love. When I take the lid off, it sits right here. And all of the condensation just drips right back in the pot. It's got this nice steamer insert that I can lift up and drain the pasta out. But I can also use that little insert there to actually steam in. And then it's also a boil over no more, okay? So I just salted the water. I'm gonna add a box of farfalle, otherwise known as bow tie pasta, in and let that do its thing. We're gonna put the lid back on. So you guys know, if you've been to shows with me, I love one-pot meals. I love 30-minute recipes, and that's what I'm hoping this one will turn out to be. All right, so over here we have my favorite, absolute favorite brand new pan that just came out. So you guys see this pattern here. So it's a hexagon. You're cooking dinner while watching you. Oh my God, that's awesome. I wish I could be watching you too, Emily. All right, so stainless. Most people are intimidated by cooking on stainless cookware because they're afraid of sticking. It's got a really bad reputation. You know, stainless is meant to stick, okay? When you do any kind of protein in a stainless pan, it's meant to do that because it builds what's called a fond or a crust, okay? So this one, though, it's kind of stainless cookware meets the ease and kind of easy cleanup of non-stick, because it's got this hexagon pattern. Hopefully you guys can see that. That's overlaid over top of the stainless, and that's actually a non-stick surface over top of the stainless. And so what that does is it gives you the easy cleanup, but it lets just enough of the non-stick come through, or excuse me, the stainless come through, that you still get that sear of what you want from a stainless pan, okay? So this is like the must-have now. I kind of use it for everything. Oh, I didn't tell you. Guess what? With the new changes of cookware, both the non-stick, which is the multi-pot here, and the stainless, they're both dishwasher safe, and they're also metal utensil safe. Hello? Can you say convenience? All right, so we're gonna preheat our pan, okay? We want, when my pan gets piping hot, that's when you put your meat into it. I'm gonna put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil into the pan. We're gonna turn the heat down on our pasta before I have a pasta explosion in my kitchen, which wouldn't be good. So we're going to let this pan come up to heat, okay? And so why do you want to do that? Why do you want your pan to get hot before you start cooking in it? Well, really, it's because when you cook any kind of protein, when the pan is nice and hot and you put it in there and lay it in there, you actually get a sear, okay? So if you don't warm your pan up when you cook a protein and you just, let's say, you know, you turn the burner on, you put your meat in there and let it come up to temperature, it actually boils your meat from the inside out. And so we don't want to do that, okay? That's how you get really dry protein or rubber texture. So that's my tip for you guys, okay? Let your pan heat up first, right? So we have a ½ pound of bacon, and you guys will see I just cut this up into what they would call lardons, or just little chunks of bacon. I mean, hello. Shrimp, bacon, cheese, you can't go wrong, right? So we're gonna scoot this bacon into our pan and let that start cooking. Because again, it's not gonna take very long for this bacon to cook in a stainless pan, especially once it starts getting hot, okay? So while we're doing that, we're gonna go ahead and start doing a lot of our prep work. So I have 2 pounds of shrimp. Who loves shrimp? Give me a thumbs up or some love. Give me some love if you guys love shrimp. We love, you guys hear that? Listen, it's sizzling already. That's how fast that non-stick or the stainless pan heats up. So we love shrimp. Shrimp's typically expensive, I know, but I found 2 pounds of the extra large jumbos. Yeah, it was the jumbo shrimp for like 15 bucks, which that's pretty good for shrimp. It was already deveined. And if you've never worked with shrimp before, you do want to spend the extra time to prep your shrimp before you cook it. The back is what they call deveining. So back along here, there runs, you know, that really nasty part, you know, the poo of the shrimp. And so you just make a slit along the back here, and you just pull out that little track or rinse it out or whatever you want to do. And you want to, of course, take the shells off. All right, so we have our shrimp ready. We're gonna season our shrimp though, right? We need to add some layers of flavor. So we're gonna add in some salt. We're gonna add in some pepper. And then we are gonna add in some lemon pepper rub, but I gotta find it first. It's like mystery. There it is, lemon pepper rub, okay? So Pampered Chef lemon pepper rub. And we're just gonna give that a little sprinkle in there. All right, and we're just gonna let that sit because that's all we're doing for the shrimp. So what we're gonna do here, okay, remember we're building layers of flavor. Okay, so we have our bacon cooking. And once our bacon is, I would say 3/4 of the way cooked, we're gonna add in our next layer of flavor, okay, which is gonna be onion. Onion and bacon go really, really good together. So let me grab my big chef's knife. This is the scary knife everybody's always afraid of. It's actually my favorite knife to use though. So it's got the nice 7-inch blade. We're gonna use it for our tomatoes here in a second too. So a little bit about our forged cutlery. So German steel, it is full tang, which just means from this point to this point, you've got one solid piece. You guys can actually see it running down through the handle of German steel. You've got a nice Paca wood handle, which just means it's not going to be slippery and fall out of your hand. Right here, you'll see the way that this is shaped and designed. It's designed to fit perfectly in your hand. These little logos, there's one on each side. You guys see that? There's a Pampered Chef logo on each side. So that's actually to place your fingers in the correct positions because the chef's knife is the knife that people cut themselves typically with. So you want your pointer finger on one side, your thumb on the other side. So remember your loser fingers. Use your loser fingers so you don't lose your fingers. And then you tuck the rest of your fingers back behind the bolster. This is called your bolster, okay? That's what balances the knife in your hand, okay? That's how it distributes the weight of your knife correctly. So we're gonna cut our onion. So we're just gonna trim off the ends. And remember, when Becky cooks, all of the scraps go into my bag so that I can make vegetable stock with later. We're gonna cut our onion in half. And we just want really small pieces or dices of our onion. So we're gonna make 3 cuts going this way. Okay, so horizontal cuts. And then we're gonna make like 4 vertical cuts, actually probably 5, vertical cuts down. And then we're gonna go the other way. So you're gonna cut your onion in 3 different directions so that you get even and consistent cuts on your onion. Little part of onion still in there. Okay, so we got even, nice and even dices of our onions. We're just gonna do the same with our other side. So horizontal, and then we're gonna go straight down vertical and make 4 to 5 cuts, depending how big or small you want them, and then back the other way. And this knife is designed to rock, okay? You guys see that? It's got the nice rocking motion to it. And that's typically why people will cut themselves with this knife, is because they don't know how to use this knife properly. All right, so we're gonna set our knife aside. I'll show you guys how nice and even our onions are. You guys see that, okay? So our bacon is about halfway done. You guys hear that? So we're gonna go ahead and throw our onions in and let them start to cook down with the bacon. And again, we're building layers of flavor, right? All right, let's give our pasta a check. Should be about halfway. Yeah, we've probably got about another 6 minutes on our pasta. All right, and once you start to see that the onions are translucent, okay, meaning that they've started to release a lot of their moisture, then that's when we're going to add in our shrimp, okay, because we want that shrimp to take on some of the bacon and onion properties. Just going to kind of spread the love. All right, so let's work on tomatoes. So if you've been on my page for very long, you know the close and cut is one of my favorite tools that we have. It's spring loaded on this side, spring loaded on this side, and it lets you do things like the other day I did a demo with grapes. Okay, so if you're a parent and you use a lot of grapes at home, always make sure that you cut your grapes in half for your kids. 35 kids a year die from grapes, from choking on a grape. And so cherry tomatoes are, you know, not really any different. You can choke on them. They get lodged right here in your throat. So we're going to take these and we're going to put just enough of them on the gray plate of the close and cut that we have one solid layer of tomatoes going across. Okay? And then back to why it's so important to have this 7-inch blade is because this is going to be long enough to cut completely across with the close and cut. So we're going to lay our close and cut right down here, okay, on the edge of the close and cut. We're going to close it down. I'm going to hold my hand on the top of it, and then as I cut across, what's happening is all of the tomatoes are now cut in half at one time. Can you guys see that? So that half of a container of tomatoes has, you know, in literally 10 seconds, I've just cut all of them across at one time. So we're going to set our tomatoes aside, and we're going to do the rest of them. So normally a container, you know, takes about 2 times for a whole container to get done, which I will take that any day over going one by one and cutting my tomatoes or grapes or olives or mozzarella balls or whatever I'm cutting. So there, I've got all of my tomatoes done. Sit this over in the sink. All right, and our onions are translucent, so they're right where we want them. The bacon is right where we want it. It's not to the point yet where it's completely cooked because I don't want to overcook it, okay? So we're going to throw our shrimp in. Again, the shrimp has just been seasoned with salt and pepper and lemon pepper rub. And we're just going to spread our, I must have been going too fast. Just gonna kind of get our shrimp into one solid layer, okay? So I'll tell you, we are not looking to cook our shrimp 100% of the way through. We're actually going to, I dropped a tomato, cook them about 3/4 of the way through before we add our next layer of flavor, okay? Our pasta should be about done. Looks done to me. So we're going to turn the heat off of this, and I'll show you guys. I'm going to put it back on this back burner, and I'll show you how I drain that off here in a second. So we're going to, let me grab another cutting mat. So we have our tomatoes done. And the last thing that we need to prep is going to be our cheese. How many of you guys love Parmesan cheese? I absolutely love Parmesan cheese. Give me some love if you love Parmesan. So I know a lot of us, you know, will buy it at the grocery store in that green container. That green container has lots of hidden ingredients that you really don't want to eat or consume. Hi, Lauren. How are you? Along with all other kinds of bagged pre-shredded cheese, okay? So those pre-shredded cheese, they contain what's called cellulose powder. And if you don't know what cellulose powder is actually a wood derivative. And so it's comparable to sawdust. So, hey, if you need the fiber, have at it. You know, some of us need that extra little bit of fiber. I'm not one of those people. So we're gonna grate our own cheese. Grated cheese, when you grate it yourself, is also less expensive. The taste and flavor are completely different, and they melt completely different, okay? So we're gonna take our fine grater. You guys see this? So the fine grater is gonna be good for zesting. It's gonna be good for, you know, if you're a big girl like me and you need that chocolate fix, you can take your chocolate and grate it right over top of your mouth for a little quick snack. But in this case, we're gonna use it for our hard cheese. So Parmesan, Asiago, Fontino, Romano, that's gonna be the kind of cheese that you're gonna use this grater for. And so this block of Parmesan is almost gone. You guys will see up here, I don't know if you can really tell with the lighting, that it gets dark up here. That's your rind of cheese. Don't throw the rind away, okay? Throw this into that bag of scraps, okay? It adds such volume and flavor into your veggie stock. Amazing flavor. And think about it. I mean, it's, you know, an inch of cheese that you've paid for, and I would rather melt it down into my veggie stock and get a second use out of it than opposed to just throwing it away. All right, so we're gonna flip our shrimp over. La, 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 la. So if you're just tuning in and you're part of one of the virtual parties, let me know whose party you're tuning in from. I know I have 3 different hosts. I have Amanda, I have Melissa, and I have Kathy's parties that I shared this live demo into. So let me know whose party you belong to if you're part of the virtual parties. All right, so we've got our Parmesan grated. So you want probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 ounces, depending how cheesy you are, you know. So look, it's like snow. Of course, I seen enough snow yesterday. I think we ended up with 14 inches. Who got snow yesterday? How much snow did you guys get? Let me know. Drop it below. All right, into our shrimp. We're going to press 3 cloves of garlic using our garlic press. What I love about our garlic press is you don't need to take the skins off. Okay, you can just pop your clove right in there into the chute, flip it over, and shazam! You've got pressed garlic right in your pan. And the best part is, here's my skin, okay? There's my skin that I would have had to peel. That's going in my veggie scrap bag. So again, I don't throw anything away, the skins, the peels, none of that. It adds such tremendous flavor into your stock when you make your own stock. Do you guys know when you're cooking, you throw about 1/4 of your produce away just with the skins and the peels and those kinds of things? All right, so clove number 3, right into our pan. So my philosophy is, you know, why throw it away if I can give second use to it? And save myself money. When you make your own stocks, you save so much money in the long run. And then think about it, you know, when you buy those stocks at the store, most of the time they have tons and tons of extra sodium hidden in there. That it's just one more way that you can kind of, you know, be frugal. I live a frugal lifestyle, but yet, you know, control what you eat, you know. So much of what we eat anymore is like full of stuff, you know. Who wants it? Hi, Melissa. How are you? Glad to see one of my hosts is tuning in. What are you having for supper? All right. So we've got our shrimp, our onion, our garlic, our bacon. We had a little bit of olive oil. I think that's our layers of flavor so far, okay? We're gonna throw in 2 tablespoons of butter because butter makes everything better, right? Who loves butter? Where are my butter lovers? Let me just grab a lemon real quick. So, did you guys know there's a way to tell with your produce if it's going to have a lot of juice inside or be dry, okay? So let me show you. I have 2 lemons here, okay? One of them has got this really big belly button on the end, okay? The skin is really bumpy, okay, and rigid. The other one is really smooth in texture and has a small belly button. So the one with the small belly button and the smooth skin is going to have more juice inside. It just means it's a younger lemon. The other one is going to be dry inside. Meatball subs, and yes, butter makes everything better. Heck yeah, girl. Of course it does. So we're having a new creation that was in my brain. I kind of got the idea off of Pinterest, but I'm tweaking it a little bit. Because that's how I love to cook. That's, you know, some of my best recipes I have ever made have been from, you know, just little ideas that you get. So we're going to take and we're going to zest some of our lemon in. And when you zest, you're just looking for that outer part of color. Okay, and I'll show you guys here in a second. Zest adds such amazing flavor into your recipes. You know, when you have a recipe that calls for zest and you don't add it, you are missing out on so much flavor going in there. So you guys see it looks like it has bald spots now, okay? So that's the zest. That's just we taken the color off and left that white part behind. Hey Christine, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's been forever since I've seen that name. All right, so let's just mix in our zest. Oh my goodness, it smells. I wish you guys could smell this. Better yet, I wish you could taste this. This might just end up having to be an April cooking show recipe. I have that feeling. I have that feeling. It's going to be amazing. All right, so let's see. What do we need to add in? We need to add in our tomatoes. So we had a container of grape tomatoes. We're going to pop those bad boys in now. Our shrimp is about 3/4 of the way cooked. So again, we don't want rubber shrimp. Anybody like rubber shrimp? I don't think any of us like rubber shrimp. Said no one ever. If you're just tuning in and you're part of a virtual party, let me know which host you belong to so we can give them a shout out. So my host Melissa's on with me, which is really exciting. Thank you, Melissa, for joining. All right, now we're going to add, remember that asparagus that I posted earlier in my kitchen? So I just cut it into thirds, okay? I trimmed off the end. So here's the thing. If it's been a couple days since you bought it, the ends are not going to be fresh, okay, where they've cut it. So you just want to cut it again, okay? And then I cut it into thirds. So we're going to throw our asparagus in. And you don't want the asparagus to cook long. I would say probably about 4 minutes total. And we're right there with this recipe, okay? So I'm actually gonna pop the lid on right now. And when you pop the lid on, that's gonna help create some steam inside. So you're actually gonna start steaming whatever vegetable you have in there. So those tomatoes and that asparagus, you're now going to start steaming. So the tomatoes are going to start popping. Your asparagus is going to turn bright green in color. And when it turns bright green in color, that means it's done. Okay, so typically about 3 to 4 minutes. If you take it past that point, then it's going to get rubbery. And nobody likes rubbery anything, right? All right, so pasta. So let's take this lid off. And love, love, love that this insert just pulls out. I can drain my noodles. Okay. This steamer insert piece is available separately or it's available with the multi-pot. So we're just going to dump our water out. We're going to pour our pasta back in because I'm going to add all of this into here to coat and give flavor to the pasta, okay? Soon as I see this asparagus start changing color, that's when we're going to add it in there. Actually, we're going to go ahead and add in our lemon juice. We did some lemon zest, but we need to get that juice in there. So we're going to cut our lemon in half. We're only going to use half of it, okay? So we're going to use our citrus press. Normally you would think about dropping it in this way, but you actually want to flip it over, okay, so opposite, so that you get the maximum amount of juice out of it. So we're just going to pour that right around in our recipe. Surprised my kids have not started coming out here yet. And then I have a 1/2 cup of heavy cream that we're going to add in, and that's just going to make a really nice sauce once I throw this Parmesan cheese in. So we're going to add about 3/4 of our Parmesan cheese in now. We're going to save a little bit. I'm going to give this a stir together. Doesn't this look amazing, you guys? I'm like throwing it everywhere. Normal. If I'm not making a mess in the kitchen, something's wrong. Just saying. That's when I cook my best, is when it's messy. You know it's going to be good. All right, so we're going to let that cook for a second. We're going to let the cream and the cheese start to make a sauce and reduce. Okay, it's going to thicken up and reduce. Our pasta is ready for us though, guys. Let me grab my stone bowl. We're going to serve it in our large stoneware serving bowl. It holds 15 cups, okay? So we're going to just sit this aside for a sec. So any of the products that you've seen today that you might be interested in owning in your own kitchen, we do have some pretty amazing specials the next 2 months, so I'm just going to talk about them real quick while this is thickening up. So the cookware, you can get really anything in the catalog in the month of April when you host your own show. So that could be cookware, it could be knives, it could be anything for 60% off. So it's your choice in the month of April when you host a show. Now, hosting can be a virtual party like you might be attending right now. And if it's a virtual party, then I do a live demonstration. It could be a cooking show where I come to your home and I entertain your friends and family. You earn tons of products for free. Or it could just be a book party, okay? So if you're interested in doing a party in the month of April, send me a PM. So that we can get you on my calendar, because I do, if it's a cooking show, I do have select dates left. I think I only have 3 cooking show dates left. Now, in the month of May, if April's too soon, in the month of May, you can get our cookware, any pieces of our cookware for 60% off as well, okay? So, you know, this multi-pot that's normally $300, 60% off would be like 120 bucks. That's a pretty good deal. This stainless pan is one amazing piece that I think every kitchen should have. All right, so that looks ready to go. We're gonna dump that in with our pasta. Yum. And we're just gonna give this a stir. Stir that right into our pasta. Oh my goodness gracious. This looks amazing, you guys. And then right into our large stone serving bowl. Remember, I feed a huge family every night. So this is the Wolfinger size bowl that we need for sure. All right, and then to finish it off, we're gonna top with the rest of our Parmesan cheese right on top. And that's it. And that's dinner. You guys see that? Look how amazing that is. How would you guys like to have that? All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in this evening. If you are a part of our virtual parties, just know that our parties will all be closing up on Sunday. So just make sure that you get your orders in. If you do have any questions about hosting or doing my job, then send me a private message. If you are on my VIP page, make sure to share this link so that all your friends can enjoy this recipe also. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. I can't wait to do another demonstration for you guys. Bye.